All right, this is a little bit of a review over determinants of supply. We're going to be moving into equilibrium price in a second. But if you remember, all right, the law of supply, it's opposite of what the law of demand tells us. This means that price and quantity in this case are going to be positively related. So if you look right here, that means that when one of them is increasing, the other one's increasing. So if the price of something is going up, then businesses want to sell more of it. And these are your shifters. They're the determinants of supply. But I mean, honestly, the shifters, if you want to look at it that way, the same way as we did with demand, these are the things that actually cause the supply curve to shift, right? So if you look at the very first one, this price of inputs, this is the cost of production, right? So it could be anything. It could be anything that we make stuff out of. So if we're talking about lemonade, like we talked about in class, this is your lemons, this is sugar. If we're making chocolate chip cookie, it's sugar again, it's chocolate chips, it's butter, it's eggs. Those are the things that are inputs. And if the price of those things go up, then it's going to affect our supply. The next one is number of firms. Well, again, right, if we have more restaurants open up in Heard County, well, then there's going to be more food, right? So the more firms we have, the more supply of stuff we're going to have. Technology, we've kind of talked about this quite a bit in class, and honestly, you should kind of see this. Anytime technology improves, it's going to make us more productive, and we're going to be able to make more stuff. So you think about like pizza places now, they've got the big machines that basically roll the pizzas through them, and that's what cooks the pizza, and it just makes it a lot quicker, and now people don't have to check on it, anything like that. Taxes down here at the bottom, right? This one should again be kind of obvious, right? This is if you tax businesses more, they're going to want to make less. All right, so this is just an example, pretty much the same example we saw in class. If the price of inputs goes up, supply is going to decrease. And we can see this right here because this is a shift to the left, all right? One thing too to kind of point out is that this green curve, this is our original supply curve, right? So this is what's happening right now, just normal day, anything like that. But then all of a sudden, the price of inputs goes up, and whenever that happens, that's when this supply curve is going to shift back to the left, right? And now we're left with this new supply curve, this purple one, right? So in reality, when this happens, the green one just goes away completely in real life. Right now, obviously on our graph, we can't really erase them all the time, but they really go away. And this is the only supply curve that really matters anymore, is this purple one, the new one. All right, and then the other shifters right here, again, kind of just thinking about this, right? If the number of firms goes up, we're going to have more stuff, right? So you could think even cell phones, right? If we have 5 more cell phone companies open up tomorrow, well, then we're going to have more cell phones in the world. The supply is going to increase, right? Same thing with technology. If technology goes up, then, yep, guess what? And so is our supply, right? And then taxes, if they go up on the business, the taxes on the business, not on us as consumers, but on the businesses. If taxes increase, then supply will decrease, right? And then the last one right here, yeah, we're going to honestly skip over this one. We might talk about it in class. This is not one that's really super important for the class itself, but it's just kind of something to think about. All right, so here's a summary, right? This is basically the same old chart we drew in class. It's just kind of spelled out a little bit, and it's just another way of saying exactly the same kind of stuff that we've been saying, and we talked about the entire presentation here, right? So it just kind of spells it out a little bit better for you. All right, so as always, any questions about this? But that's just kind of a review, right? And so we'll move on now to equilibrium price. All right, so the equilibrium price, what it tells us is how much something's going to sell for. It tells us the price of a good or service anytime, right? And if you look at the root word right up here, equal, right, of equilibrium, well, the root word is equal, right? And so what we're trying to find is a place where supply and demand are equal, and that place is going to be whenever the two of them cross, right? So when the two of them cross, the little dot gets formed in between the two of them, right there where the X kind of comes together. You'll see it on the next slide too. But that is our equilibrium price, and it's also called the market clearing price. That's actually in our standard. It says determine how supply and demand come together to form market clearing price. Well, market clearing price and equilibrium price are exactly the same thing. So if you look right here, here's an example of equilibrium, right? So you can see that here we have our supply curve, right? It's going up and to the right. We've got our demand curve is going down and to the right. But then we've got this little spot right here in the middle where these little dots are coming out of. Well, where these two meet, this point right here, where my arrow's at, right? At that point, right, supply and demand are equal. And this tells us what our equilibrium price is going to be. In this case, our equilibrium price is going to be $3, and our equilibrium quantity is going to be 30. So we're going to sell 30 units at a price of $3. And this is our market clearing price. And as you can see, supply and demand are equal. Well, what this means is that we as consumers, we want 30 and producers are only going to make 30. So that's why we say it's a market clearing price, because if they're making 30 and we're buying 30, then there's none left over. So it's cleared the entire market. All right, and this is kind of an example for you to look at, right? This is one for you to kind of try to graph it out and solve it. I will give you a hint. Oh, actually, not really a hint. I will tell you that the equilibrium price is actually going to be $12.50, and the equilibrium quantity is going to be 30. But you need to graph this out yourself so you have the answer. So once you graph it out, see if that's what it comes out to be. See if your price is $12.50 and see if your quantity is 30. All right, and as always, if you ever have any questions, you can ask, you can email me, you can shoot me a text on the Remind app, or whatever you got to do. Come back during fourth block, come back during Blaze block. It does not matter to me. I'm always there to help you. But y'all have a great day.